Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we delve into A Mind for Numbers by Barbara Oakley, an invaluable guide for those looking to enhance their learning capabilities, particularly in the realms of math and science. This enlightening book provides a treasure trove of techniques and insights into how our brains process information and how you can leverage this understanding to improve your ability to learn and retain complex subjects. Whether you struggle with numbers or aspire to sharpen your cognitive skills, A Mind for Numbers is tailored for you, challenging the notion that certain people are simply not cut out for scientific or mathematical pursuits. The author, Barbara Oakley, is no stranger to cognitive challenges. She is an esteemed engineering professor at Oakland University and a fellow of the American Institute for Medical and Biological Engineering. Her expertise is backed by an impressive body of work that has reached audiences worldwide, featuring strategies for effective studying that have graced the pages of the Wall Street Journal, among other publications. A Mind for Numbers is not just for mathematicians and scientists. It's a book for anyone eager to unlock the full potential of their brain, to transform their dedication and perseverance into tangible success. If you find yourself wrestling with educational material, or merely wish to bolster your study habits, this episode, and the book it spotlights, is for you. Join us on this intellectual journey as we explore the art and science of learning with the help of Barbara Oakley's research and experience. A Mind for Numbers: How to Excel at Math and Science, Even if you Flunked Algebra. Introduction. Unleash your hidden potential. Become a math and science whiz. Picture this. You're staring at a page full of numbers and symbols that might as well be ancient hieroglyphics. Heart racing, palms sweating. You're on the verge of declaring a lifelong truce with anything math or science related. If that sounds like you, then A Mind for Numbers is about to turn your world upside down, in the best possible way. It's a treasure chest of secrets that can transform anyone, yes, anyone, into a math and science aficionado. Authored by Barbara Oakley, a professor who once harbored a serious aversion to these very subjects, this guide is the bridge from math-phobic to math fanatic. Delve into the power of the wandering mind and scheduled relaxation. Can daydreaming and dozing off actually help you learn? Surprisingly, the answer is a resounding yes. Oakley reveals how some of the most valuable eureka moments come when you allow your mind to drift away from the task at hand. Just like a computer sometimes needs to reboot, your brain occasionally needs to switch off to process complex concepts in the background. By embracing the gentle art of napping and nurturing a wandering mind, you're actually setting the stage for those jaw-dropping moments of clarity and understanding in math and science. Balance diligent work with playful leisure for optimal learning. The rhythm of work and play might remind you of a well-choreographed dance. Oakley emphasizes that it's not just about pushing through study sessions with grim determination. Planning time for leisure activities is crucial in achieving a vibrant learning cycle. Just as a taut string can only stretch so far before it snaps, your concentration has a breaking point. Mixing moments of relaxation and joy with periods of focused study can keep you motivated, creative, and more importantly, sane on your journey to mastering numbers. Discover why genius isn't all it's cracked up to be. Often, we look up at those with genius status and wonder if life would be simpler if we could have a slice of that intellectual pie. But A Mind for Numbers suggests that this might not be the golden ticket we imagine. Oakley spotlights the idea that extraordinary talent can sometimes be a double-edged sword. Learning to think around problems rather than bulldozing through them can lead to a deeper understanding and prevents the kind of rigidity that can stifle true innovation. So, if you're not a born genius, take heart. You might just have an advantage. Part 1. Illuminate your learning with the brain's dual modes of thought. Envision your brain as an ingenious flashlight that can adapt its beam for different scenarios. At times, it zooms in with an intense glow on a singular area, a mode perfect for intricate tasks. Then, with a subtle shift, the light casts a gentler yet expansive reach, allowing a broader range of vision. This duality is not just a feature of high-tech gadgets, it's the essence of how we think. Introducing the focused mode, the brain's spotlight. When we delve deep into familiar territories, weaving through information etched into our mind's pathways, we're harnessing the focused mode. It's the laser-sharp concentration that math and science often demand, molding raw data with rationality and analysis. Picture yourself crunching numbers in a multiplication problem, or better yet, pulling from the mental repository of verb conjugations in a new language. That razor-edge precision of thought, zeroing in on the task. That's focused mode at play. Embrace the diffuse mode, the brain's wide-angle lens. Now drift away from the intensity and let your thoughts flow freely. This is the diffuse mode, less about the specific, more about the holistic view. It's the conceptual net catching ideas as they float by, knitting them into understanding that spans beyond the narrow spotlight of focused effort. Marvelous insights in math and science emerge from this diffuse thinking. It's the elusive aha moment in the shower, or the solution that waltzes into your mind during a leisurely walk. Ever faced a problem that refused to budge under the strain of focus? The diffuse mode is the key to unlocking such puzzles. Spotting what's hidden in plain sight, the diffuse advantage. A simple sentence riddled with errors might trip up focused mode thinkers on the third pass, where the true paradox lies. Yet the diffuse mode, akin to an artist staring at negative space, sees beyond the immediate detail, grasping the full picture and the realization that the third error is, in fact, the sentence's false claim. In the intricate dance of learning, each step, whether focused or diffuse, harmonizes to form a holistic strategy. One carves the details, the other perceives the grand design. Together, they weave a tapestry of knowledge in the learner's mind. Part 2. Unlock learning efficiency with the brain's modes and the power of sleep. Think of your journey through a day as a ballet of the mind, where focused and diffuse modes alternate in a graceful dance. You can't hold the stage with both simultaneously. Their solo performances are crucial for the spectacle of learning. It's in this ebb and flow that solutions and understanding gently unfurl, harnessing the learning pendulum between modes. When faced with intellectual hurdles, it's the periods spent away from the direct glare of our cognitive light that matter most. These are the moments when the diffuse mode stretches its limbs, roaming where it may. Then, returning to the problem with fresh eyes, we're armed with insights pieced together from the backdrop of thought. This synergistic interaction, a relay race of information, becomes the heartbeat of problem solving. One mode processes and analyzes, the other distills and contextualizes. Together, they coax the mind toward epiphanies and understandings that seemed elusive in isolation, the compelling role of sleep in solidifying knowledge. Now, let's turn to sleep, the silent partner in this learning triad. Reflect on the bodybuilder whose muscles yearn for recovery as much as exertion. In the hush of rest, strength is fortified. The same principle blesses our mental exertions. The brain, mighty as it is, requires replenishment to sculpt the sinews of memory and knowledge. During slumber, a cleansing tide flows through the brain, sweeping away the weariness of wakefulness. It nurtures a fertile ground for ideas to take root. Studies whisper an intriguing secret. If you wander through your studies just before drifting off, your dreams may waltz with the concepts, ingraining them deeper within. So when frustration casts a shadow on your studies, consider changing your mental gear, or better yet, embrace the rejuvenating embrace of sleep. Your mind, and your mastery of the material, will thank you after these quiet oases in your learning journey. Part 3. Master the art of chunking to transform learning into expertise. Our minds possess a beautifully efficient filtering system, a lens that adjusts to view sweeping landscapes rather than fixating on every leaf and twig. This mental magic trick? It's called chunking. and it's your golden ticket to mastering complex subjects like math and science, building mental connections, one chunk at a time. Chunks are bits of information woven together by meaning. They're the patterns in the data that our brains recognize and catalog. Take the letters P, O, and P. Individually, they're just sounds or shapes, but together, they're a chunk that forms the word pop. When we chunk information, our brains no longer need to plow through each detail. We graduate to an understanding of the collective concept instead. By developing this chunked mental encyclopedia, we prepare ourselves for quicker problem solving. Rather than wrestling with each issue as a standalone beast, we start to spot the shared DNA between them, propelling us towards solutions with increased agility. Recall solidifies the chunking process. But how do we keep this chunking engine running? Through recall. Imagine you're sifting through the knowledge in your mind, picking out the key points as you would apples in an orchard. This is recall, a vital process that forges fresh chunks of wisdom in your neural pathways. To hone your chunking prowess, concentrate on grasping the essentials, then rehearse them in your mind's theater. It's not enough to understand concepts in isolation. They need to harmonize with the symphony of knowledge you've already composed. Solving a math problem? Don't just admire the solution. Weave the principles behind it into the intricate web of your intellectual framework. As you dive deep into your studies, resist the urge to simply retrace the text. Challenge yourself with recall. By actively navigating and unraveling problems, you'll craft a mental mosaic that is as robust as it is expansive, moving you ever closer to the mastery you seek. Part 4. Shift your focus to the journey, not the destination, to overcome procrastination. Imagine gearing up for a marathon, only to start training the evening before the race. The very notion sounds absurd, right? Well, when it comes to learning, especially subjects as intricate as math and science, procrastination mimics this last-minute sprint, leaving your mental muscles aching and your goals out of reach. Procrastination, though seductive in offering respite from the present's discomforts, becomes the adversary of progress. It's the path of least resistance when faced with tasks that are perceived as tedious, tough, or unsettling. Rising above procrastination in math and science, think of learning as laying brick by brick toward the edifice of knowledge. Quick fixes won't do. Like mortar setting between bricks, learning requires time. And just as a wall built in haste is doomed to crumble, hurried learning sessions rarely stand the test of time. One powerful tool to dodge the procrastination bullet is to immerse yourself in the process rather than fixating on the product of your efforts. The process is the flow of your work. It's those 20-minute spells of uninterrupted study. The product, meanwhile, is the conclusion of that process, like a completed assignment. By tuning into the process, you unshackle yourself from the pressure of outcomes. You learn to ride the waves of your work with less judgment, for the immediacy of results fades into the background. When the process becomes your focus, the daunting final destination loses its power to intimidate. Fear of failure or discomfort from the challenge often breeds procrastination. However, when you embrace the rhythm of regular practice, attuned to improvement rather than perfection, you not only sidestep the traps of procrastination, but learning also becomes a more enjoyable venture. Fostering this process-centered mindset isn't just a shield against delay, it's a gateway to delight in the act of learning itself. Part 5. Leverage clever mental techniques to elevate your learning. High performers often share a secret ingredient in their recipe for success. It's the smart little hacks, the mental sleight of hand that keeps their learning and productivity in top gear. Embrace these tricks and you too can transform your study sessions into something both effective and enjoyable. Craft your perfect study sanctuary. Have you ever considered that the backdrop to your learning could wield such power over your productivity? The quest for your ultimate study spot is akin to finding your personal oasis. Some thrive amidst the hum of a bustling cafe, while others blossom in the tranquil confines of a library. Nestling into a dedicated workspace propels you away from the clutches of procrastination, fortifying your resolve and sharpening your focus. Embrace the calm clarity of mindfulness. Mindfulness isn't just a buzzword, it's akin to sharpening your mental sword, perfecting your focus amidst a storm of distractions. Through practices like meditation, where you might count down numbers, you're teaching your mind the art of letting go, watching thoughts drift by without getting ensnared. This Zen-like focus not only relaxes you, but hones your ability to concentrate when it's time to hit the books. Reframe your way to positivity. Now, consider the transformative power of reframing your perspective, turning the dial from a gloomy outlook to one drenched in sunshine. When the morning alarm bell tolls, swap the groan of exhaustion for the sizzle of anticipation for a hearty breakfast. Reframing is not just about finding a silver lining, it's about rerouting your entire thought process onto a more optimistic track. Master your habits with trivial to-do lists. The modest to-do list is your strategic ally in the learning battlefield. By outlining clear, attainable goals, be it weekly or daily, you command a bird's-eye view of your priorities. It's a roadmap that offers both direction and a surge of satisfaction with each task you tick off. Don't underestimate the planner journal. A planner journal is more than a collection of pages. It's your personalized command center. Jot down your commitments, and yes, ensure play boldly claims its time slot alongside work. Why? Because penciling in play is a secret weapon against procrastination. By reserving time for joy and rest, you snuff out the excuses to delay and ensure that learning remains a pursuit of balance. Not a tedious chore, but an adventure that's as engaging as it is productive. Part 6. Memorization meets imagination for meaningful, engaging study sessions. When it comes to locking knowledge into our memory, the key is to weave the information with threads of personal significance. It's that spark of creativity within you that can turn the mundane process of memorizing into an artistic and enjoyable activity. Harness creativity with visual mnemonics. Take, for instance, Newton's iconic second law of motion. Force equals mass times acceleration, captured in the simple but profound equation F equals sign ma. Transforming these variables into a quirky image, a flying mule accelerating with each apple it consumes, not only pegs the concept in your memory, but also brings a smile to your learning routine. Metaphors, the mental bridges of comprehension. To elevate concepts from abstract to accessible, draw upon the power of metaphors. Like painting vivid pictures with words, metaphors map new knowledge onto familiar territory. Ponder electrical currents as streams of water, where voltage becomes the pressing force propelling the water through pipes. These analogies act like mental glue, helping new ideas latch onto the sturdy structures of what you already know, enhancing recall and deepening understanding. Step into the shoes of a concept. Ever tried envisaging yourself as an electron whizzing through a circuit, or as the variable x lurking within the labyrinth of an algebraic equation? By embodying the concepts you're tackling, you construct a narrative around them, making abstract or complex ideas far more tangible and relatable. Acronyms, your memory's shorthand. When faced with lists or series to remember, acronyms step in as your trusty sidekick. Picture having to retain the names of plants like garlic, rose, hawthorn, and mustard. Their initials spell out GRIM, which could take the form of a graham cracker in your mind's eye, a simple, tasty visual to retrieve the list effortlessly. Memorable stories woven into sentences. Academia is no stranger to memorable sentences, where the first letter of each word mirrors those in a list meant for memorization. These crafted sentences spin a yarn that's easy to follow, blissfully carrying the data along a narrative path. It's not just a random assortment of terms anymore. It's a tale with a life of its own that slots into memory with grace and permanence. By integrating these imaginative instruments into your studies, memorization ceases to be a chore. it evolves into a meaningful mosaic of personal connections, adorning your memory with concepts that are both memorable and delightful to recall. Part 7. When it comes to learning, tenacity trumps raw talent. Walking through the halls of academia or the corridors of our careers, it's easy to feel dwarfed by the intellectual giants among us, those for whom new concepts blossom as effortlessly as breathing. Yet, it's a breath of fresh air to realize that sometimes those pegged as average in intellect might be the tortoises destined to win the race, equipped with a blend of grit and ingenuity, the double-edged sword of gifted intelligence. Though being exceptionally bright may seem like holding a winning lottery ticket, it comes with its own set of intricate puzzles. For instance, individuals with a prolonged working memory, the mental workspace for our immediate thoughts, can tightly cling to received ideas, sometimes creating a barrier against the ebb and flow of fresh insights. This tenacity of thought can lead to an overcomplication of straightforward problems, as well as challenges in maintaining focus due to a penchant for wandering into the labyrinth of their thoughts. The virtue of persistence and practice. When we talk about learning, there's something to be said for the slow and steady dedication of practice. It's through repetition that knowledge seeps from the superficiality of the short term and embeds itself into the vast repository of our long-term memory. Brains that don't latch onto thoughts with an iron grip, often seen in those without towering IQs, are free to weave a wider web of connections. These links open gateways to creativity, drawing from the diverse districts of our minds. Furthermore, perseverance allows us to chew over problems with deliberation, fostering independent thought. It spurs us to pose probing questions whose answers further enrich our understanding. In this light, your intellectual horsepower is less about the engine and more about the journey. It's the fuel of practice, coupled with the unwavering drive of persistence, that can propel anyone towards the pinnacle of learning, regardless of the starting point of natural intellect. The landscape of the mind is not a sprint, it's a marathon where determination and disciplined training can lead anyone to the finish line, often outpacing innate brilliance. Part 8. Embrace exams as a tool for deeper learning, not just assessment. Far from the draining finale of a study session, exams stand as pillars in the architecture of learning. They're not merely checkpoints to verify your knowledge cache, they're opportunities to fortify and expand it. Recognize this. Studying for and tackling tests are pivotal elements of the educational odyssey, offering benefits that ripple beyond the score. The testing effect, a test taker's secret weapon. A phenomenon coined as the testing effect elucidates the transformative power of testing. It doesn't merely weigh your knowledge, it enhances it. In 2009, psychologists Julie Campbell and Richard Meyer unveiled some illuminating findings. Participants, having watched a presentation peppered with intermittent multiple-choice questions, exhibited superior recall compared to their counterparts who sailed through without being quizzed. Remarkably, this effect stands its ground even when the test results are less than stellar or feedback is absent. Harnessing stress as a catalyst for success. Now let's address the formidable shadow cast by test anxiety. Common physiological reactions, the clammy hands, the heart's staccato beat, are the body's chemical ensemble responding to stress. While these may seem like unwelcome guests, scientific insight tells us that it's our interpretation of these cues that can sway the narrative. By reframing anxious energy as exhilarating anticipation for peak performance, you can transform the chemistry of stress into a potent elixir for focus and achievement. The power of one breath at a time. When the waves of tests loom high, anchoring your attention to your breath can be a game changer. Deliberate, deep breaths act as a beacon of calm, pumping vital oxygen to the brain's operational centers. Through strategic practice, these techniques can transmute anxiety from a stumbling block to a stepping stone in your exams. The endgame? a mindset equipped to channel stress into productivity, solidifying exams not just as cognizance metrics, but invaluable waypoints in the learning journey. Final summary. Embarking on the voyage of mastering math and science doesn't require an innate genius or an exclusive gift for numbers. It's an open road for all who apply themselves with dedication and a sprinkle of clever techniques. By reaching into your mental toolkit to actively recall what you've absorbed, each piece of knowledge solidifies into understanding. Embrace the journey, engage with the material, and give yourself the liberty to sift through complex problems with patience and curiosity. Challenges may arise, and the path might seem steep, but with consistent effort and a focus on the learning process itself, you're destined to scale new heights of academic and intellectual achievement. Forge ahead, embrace the process, and watch as the once daunting world of math and science unfolds into a landscape rich with opportunity and discovery. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.